yeah, they're being like, well, this one missed the mark, Babylon Bee. I don't think you should. Dude, everybody knows that in major cities, a lot of Indian migrants come to this country legally, and they work in convenience stores. Why?
Oh my God.
Why is it that people...
You're explaining it. No. You don't get it. You don't get it? No, okay, here's why it's funny. Trust me. Oh, come on. Is America racist? Just when you thought racism couldn't get any more racism. Get this.
But I do need to address it. I don't know if I need to, but I will. Yesterday, the Babylon Bee posted an article with this headline. Trump promises Vivek an administration position running the White House 7-Eleven. And you can see the screenshot there with the picture, with the accompanying photo. And the photo is what really sells it, I think. That's what takes it over the top. And taken together, you know, you have to admit, like, it's kind of funny. I mean, it has to at least get a...
Is Matt Walsh wearing Patagonia? That is Patagonia. Oh my. Well, hold on. I should dress up for this ticket. I have an opposing force. Give me 1 second.
Smirk out of you, right? And yet, if you look at the comments under this post, you'll find that lots of people are offended by it. And to be clear, the people offended are, for the most part, people on the right, conservatives. Okay, a bunch of conservatives are, in fact, I think the Babylon Bee is trending right now because a bunch of conservatives are complaining that this joke is racist and in bad taste. And not ironically. I mean, there are some complaining ironically. I did leave a comment saying I was reporting the Babylon Bee.
Oh, what's this, you ask? What are you wearing, Lance? Oh, I happen to be wearing a brand. Where is it? Summit Ice. Yeah, Summit Ice.
The FBI for hate crimes. But many of these comments are not ironic and not meant to be a joke. So let me just read a few of the, just thousands of them, but let me just read a few.
Oh, what is Summit Ice? Oh, you're asking what is Summit Ice? Okay, so I don't know if you know this. I didn't know this at the time. Patagonia happens to be, I believe, a Canadian brand, right? The founder of Patagonia was making some pretty icy comments, kind of like, you know, denying the Holocaust stuff. Nathan Fielder, he's from Vancouver, and he is a artiste, a very talented one. I was a big fan of his, following his work for a long time. He crossed over into kind of like extreme meta, Charlie Kaufman-esque, and occasionally problematic artists later in life, and we could go into a really deep discussion of which right now I don't know if we have the time to go on a Nathan Fielder journey, because yeah, he's certainly quite a creative mind. You can argue both a brilliant man and a troubled man at that. But he realized that he had been wearing Patagonia clothing for a while, found that out. He happens to be Jewish Canadian himself, and as a result, he decided, hey, if there's going to be a clothing brand that is snowboard gear and winter gear that you know, its founder denies the Holocaust, why not make an opposing clothing brand for people who want others to learn about the Holocaust, learn how many Jews died in the Holocaust, and you know, promote Holocaust awareness. And that's what this brand is, Summit Ice. So Summit Ice, he turned into a real product. He started selling it online. You can buy it if you're someone like me who thinks there should be education about the Holocaust and how much Jewish people suffered in the Holocaust, and that that is important, and that Holocaust deniers are bad. You can have that represented by Summit Ice, the brand. If you want to be someone who supports
I'm 100% Trump and think Babylon Bee is a national treasure, but this one is just stupid. You can and should do better. A public retraction seems appropriate here, but I'll still look forward to your stuff. Someone else says, I like the Bee, but this was kind of in poor taste. Low blow from the Babylon Bee. Someone else says, so is the joke that Trump values him so poorly that he only sees him as a clerk at 7-Eleven? Or that you think he's a clerk at 7-Eleven because of a tired stereotype about Indian people? And then there's a bunch that say, not funny. This is not funny. And someone, I love this.
If you're wondering what's going on here, okay, this is basically an example of the right being too woke for the right. What happened is the Babylon Bee, notoriously unfunny alternative for the right wing to The Onion. They made the joke that you see before you. And this comes on the heels of Vivek losing recently in the Iowa primary, and then dropping out of the race. And then after dropping out of the race and endorsing Donald Trump, the Babylon Bee put this joke out. People like myself and some other people online pointed out that it is pretty unusual that people like Vivek Ramaswamy have spent a lot of time expressing that racism doesn't exist in America, that he is a living example of the fact that racism doesn't exist in America. And then people who we would assume are fans of his and the broader right-wing movement would immediately make racist jokes towards you. And then Matt Walsh got real upset once he recognized that, like, hey, these people are making fun of him, but at the same time, now we have all these right-wingers who are getting mad at other right-wingers and calling each other out and being like, how could you do this? I mean, it's pretty much your very typical Babylon Bee joke, right? You basically just have to always think of, like, chart it out. Lowest hanging fruit, and then you pick from it. And that's what the Babylon Bee jokes are. It's like you don't have to really think about it too much. What's the first thing that comes to your mind in terms of a racist stereotype that you can employ at any given like moment or time, and then you print it. I mean, they probably at this point don't have anyone who works there, because you could have the same thing done by like any AI, right? Like any simple AI algorithm could do that for you.
So apparently the Babylon Bee has sparked a controversy on the right, of all places, with a joke about Donald Trump giving Vivek Ramaswamy a job running the White House 7-Eleven. Vivek Ramaswamy laughed, didn't care. Many people on the right laughed and said, very funny. And my favorite response was from Siraj.
It's wild. Like, the bar is so low. You don't have to do any work anymore, you know?
Hajmi, who posted a clip of Joe Biden saying that you can't go to a 7-Eleven or Dunkin' Donuts without a slight Indian accent. I'm not kidding. Guys, I can't believe people are actually upset by this. I don't think Vivek was offended. I bet he laughed when he saw it. It's kind of crazy to me that you make an observation.
He went one step further and then quote tweeted Matt Walsh and said, "I'm a victim," and then with the laughing face. Yeah, so there's that. Yeah. By the way, Vivek doesn't have to be personally offended for someone to point out that, hey, by the way, you're making a racist joke or employing a racist stereotype or something like that. And that those two things can be independent of each other. Vivek could love it. He could think that's the funniest joke that he's ever seen in his life. No one's ever made it before, and it's the first time he's ever heard it. And that's that could be the situation. Absolutely.
Joke about the fact that there's a high rate of Indian store clerks. Simpsons made the joke. Oh boy, did people get mad about the Simpsons with Apu. Apu Nahata Pina Pesalon or whatever his name. Pedalon, whatever.
I mean, at least the name is made up. It's a made up name, most likely by white people. So you get a pass here, Tim.
His name is. Ran the Cookie Mart. And they said it was so offensive because there was this one guy and he was like, when I was a kid, people would keep coming up to me and saying like, thank you, come again, because of Apu on The Simpsons. And I'm just like, dude, that's on you, not on anyone else. Okay? Vivek didn't care. The funny thing is there are people on the right that are offended by this. And I'm not saying that they're coming up and like, oh, how he.
Okay, so I'm not offended by this. I'll tell you why. It's not because I'm white, which would be the assumption. It's because it's lazy as fuck. That's why. And it doesn't surprise me in the very slightest. I'm not like, oh my God, whoa, could you believe the extreme racism of the... No, it's the Babylon Bee. It's what they do. The bar has gone so wacky, you know, with the Great Replacement Theory style stuff that you see people publishing all the time, that this in comparison almost seems woke because of how fucking racist the right has gone now. It's wild. Like things that used to be considered, I would be like, well, this is the stuff that you only hear in Stormfront, that, you know, apparently white people are being replaced by immigrants, you know, at the control of some cabal of elites. Yeah, that's Stormfront. That's Nazi shit. Now they all say it like it's normal. Now it's just like, yes, and by the way, did you know that Jewish people control the media? No, they don't. What are you saying? That's anti-Semitism. Y'all are, wait, this is normal now. You're all, okay, so, wow, racism is just apparently now the way the GOP is going to signal to one another. Not encoded messages anymore. No more dog whistles. Everyone's just screaming from bullhorns. Great.
Yeah, they're being like, well, this one missed the mark, Babylon Bee. I don't think you should. Dude, everybody knows that in major cities, a lot of Indian migrants come to this country legally and they work in convenience stores. Why?
Oh my God.
Why is it that people...
You're explaining it. No. You don't get it. You don't get it? No, Casey, here's why it's funny. Trust me. Oh, come on.
People who come from Asian countries work in Chinese food stores or Thai stores. Look.
Keep going.
I went to a sushi place once, and it was run by Korean.
With the boys? Did you go with the boys? What's going on here? Sushi with the boys? Did Emma come?
People. Sushi is Japanese.
How could this happen? You just let it happen.
Because they're like, we can start a business here. Here's something we can do. It works for our friends and family. It makes money. I personally don't care. I'll read you the story. It's actually really funny. But I
mean, that's really nice of you because you don't care. I know you're implying that you don't care about, like, you know, the racist stereotypes or jokes or stuff that people utilize or how they utilize them. But just in the sentence, the way you said it there, it sounds like you don't care if Korean people open up Japanese restaurants. And it's real nice of you, Tim. Real friendly like.
Thing is that it makes fun of DeSantis too, because they actually address the issue of race in it. But I want to show you some of the tweets. But I want to start by saying this. A joke for all of you. Shout out to my mom who makes math videos.
Fun.
So when I've told the story before, but it's a funny story, and it exemplifies the point about this Babylon Bee story. When the first wave of demonetizations were happening on YouTube, 7 or whatever years ago, basically you put up a video, YouTube would strip ads from it. You'd make no money, and you'd be like, I worked all day and I made no money. That's messed up. It sucked. And I was hanging out with a friend and Lauren Southern. And shout out Lauren Southern. I don't know if I ever mentioned it was her. I think I did. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, it was Lauren Southern. And Lauren said, it's clear they're targeting conservatives with demonetization to take their money away. And I said, I don't know if that's true because my mom makes math videos and she's getting demonetized too. And Lauren goes, why am I not surprised that your Korean mom makes math videos? I immediately busted out laughing and immediately texted my mom like, holy crap, this is hilarious. I was like, Lauren just pointed out that you're a Korean mother and you make math videos. And my
Did you explain who Lauren Southern was? Like, well, Mom, you'll know. So there's like this white supremacist. Yeah, she's pretty well known. She's actually in documentaries about white supremacy. One of them has Richard Spencer in it. Anyways, we were having a conversation.
Mom responds with all caps, ha 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 ha. We laughed about it. How insane is it that a friend of mine, who is a friend of mine, I know doesn't hate me, made a joke pointing out the silliness of stereotypes and the irony, and I enjoyed the joke, laughed along with her, told my mom, who also...
Yeah, I know this one's really complex, but yeah, so we can add to this. No one has ever said that, like, people, a variety of races, don't enjoy racist jokes, even if it's being made about them. No one's saying that. That also doesn't take away the fact that they could be racist jokes. The two things can be simultaneously true at the same time. Multiple things can be true at once. I know.
Immediately laughed. It put a smile on our faces. I don't get it. It wasn't intended to hurt Vivek Ramaswamy. It is meant to make a joke about a stereotype or trope we see in public. And Vivek Ramaswamy is the subject of the joke. This is the thing. I always tell people, when it comes to humor, when it comes to being embarrassed, it's your fault. Seriously, it is entirely your fault. You've got comedians, Rodney Dangerfield. This guy was trying to get into entertainment his whole life. And
but then he didn't get any respect. I heard he wanted respect, but then he didn't get none. Yeah, he couldn't get any.
He got real sad and down on himself. And then one day he just went up on stage and was like, I got to tell you, everybody hates me. I get no respect. Even my dog. And then he was telling jokes about how he's such a lowly figure that no one cares about. And then he creates an absurdity of, like, even his dog doesn't look at him or something. I'm not a comedian. I'm not going to try and pull off Rodney Dangerfield jokes, but he was a funny guy.
Cool story, bro. So the reason why some people might be discussing this, especially when it relates to Vivek, And, you know, a lot of people have brought up how they were big fans of Vivek. You know, Alex Jones, for example, massive fan. They crossed over. They did each other's shows. And even though Alex Jones, at no point, this is after meeting him multiple times and doing podcasts with him, was willing to learn his actual real name, he still supported him. But then you get stories like this, right?
Gives them like, oh, I can't vote for him because what are the things that they tell you? What answers can I help you provide? Or just
well, the only one I've had, and I couldn't even remember who said that to me, but they mentioned about dark skin, you know, and they think Muslim right away. And so I kind of set them straight on that, whether they believe me or thought I was covering for him. I don't know, but and I tried to explain.
Fair, not much we can do about that one.
Well, yeah, you know, so yeah.
You just watched an Iowa Republican voter explain to Vivek Ramaswamy's wife, Apurva, that one of the biggest reasons one of her peers told her that they refused to support Vivek was because of his dark skin and suspicion that he may be a Muslim. Yeah. Now, this conversation took place recently, which means that Vivek's attempt to ingratiate himself with white supremacists in the Republican Party.
Why air quote dark skin? Well, I mean, perhaps it's something that she was trying to express is in like our perception of what it is, you know, the very concept of what is to be white. What is whiteness? And does white, can one become proximity to white? Can one achieve whiteness in their lifetime? You know, the closer they get, both in affluence, power, considered standardized beauty, things like this. Could be all that, you know, if I was to steal a man the argument.
Has failed, predictably so. And at that same event, his wife faced even more questions about their religion. Let's watch.
So you had a question about religion?
Just your thinking on
our faith, yeah. So
well,
we do not come from...
To be fair to Michael Jackson and or balanced, he did have vitiligo, which is an actual medical condition that can remove one's skin pigmentation, or is it that it actually affects how your body processes melanin? I'm not entirely sure.
Kind of the traditional background for most presidential candidates. We are Hindus. Yes, in a lot of ways, I think for a lot of people for whom religion is important, and we care a lot about God and our relationship to God. So I understand when people hear that we're Hindu, you want to know, like, what does that mean? Who are you? What do you stand for? So our religion teaches us that all of us have been put here by God for a purpose. And everyone has been given a gift, some gifts by God, and it's our job to use those gifts to the best of our abilities while we are here on this earth. And so
I do appreciate how there's got to be so many moments where you've just got to have so much patience to try and explain to people who have basically been reinforcing over and over, that means you're a terrorist now, who are most likely going to respond to you trying to explain, and again, very reasonably, aspects of your own religion, to like, well then why don't you just become a Christian? If you believe in God, you believe in divine prophecy, become a good old-fashioned Christian like the rest of us.
That is, in a lot of ways, why we are doing this.
Honestly, bless her heart, the patience that she has is truly admirable. She's much more likable than Vivek, and I think she seems like a genuine person aside from the fact that she's married to a fascist like him. But I really do hate that they feel like they're forced to coddle white supremacists in the Republican Party to be barely viable. But I mean, they unfortunately kind of have
to be barely viable. It's true.
Have to do that. They have to cater to the sensibilities of dumb fuck racists if they want to be members of this party.
True.
But one thing that they don't understand seemingly about these white evangelicals is that they're not looking for mere similarities between religious values, right? They want you to disavow your religion entirely and become Christian, full stop. And even then, they still might not support you because you're not white. It's just the lost cause. But I mean, accepting Jesus as the Son of God is step number one in their eyes. Now, Vivek himself has been asked about this specific question on the campaign trail numerous times, and here's how it went in one instance.
So, I'll be very honest, it's not a hard question at all. So in our faith tradition, Jesus Christ is a son of God. I know that is different than saying he's the Son of God. But that is my view of Jesus Christ. He's got our family. Do we worship in churches? Yes, we do. Is that compatible with our faith? Yes, it is. One true God in many forms. So that's different, and I understand that.
That is different. The only way to heaven is through Jesus Christ.
I think that is the path. That is a path to heaven, is the way we look at it. But belief in God is what we say. Yeah. Belief in the one true God. That's the way I look at it.
I mean, this is why I say it's a lost cause. The modern Republican Party is simply too racist and
yeah, like I was like, well, that's very reasonable of you to put it that way, son. But it is demonic, and you are Beelzebub, and you will burn in the fires of hell. Unless you are to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, the one and only, I'd like to stress this, only path to God. Just one.
Too deep in that Christian nationalism bubble to vote for someone like him. And to make matters worse, it's not just racism and Islamophobia that he's dealing with, even though he's not a Muslim. It's xenophobia as well, since GOP voters perceive him and his wife to be immigrants. Now, this was a concern that they expressed to his wife in Iowa. NBC News reports at a later event in Jefferson County, Iowa, Apurva Ramaswamy was grilled by one of two event attendees about her own upbringing. Quote, "How long have you been in the United States? Were you born here?" asked Wayne Nieskern, an attendee from Fairfield, Iowa. Quote, "No, I came when I was 4. Vivek was born and raised in Cincinnati," Apurva Ramaswamy replied, explaining her family's Indian heritage. The attendee continued with questions about Apurva Ramaswamy's parents, where they lived and whether they had green cards, they are citizens, before remarking that she doesn't have an accent. Quote, "I've been here since I was 4 years old," Apurva Ramaswamy replied. "I've spoken English since I was 4. Oh my God, this is so cringeworthy. In an interview after the event, Nieskern explained that he loves foreign people. Oh, thank God, I was beginning to think otherwise, citing what he described as his 2 unofficially adopted children. He said he asked about Apurva Ramaswamy's upbringing because of the bad things the Ramaswamys say about the state of the country. He has not yet decided who he will support at his caucus, but he said it won't be Ramaswamy. Shocker, I know. So it's not just whether or not you're an immigrant. The question is also whether or not you are sufficiently loyal to America, especially as an immigrant, because maybe your loyalties lie with another country. I mean, I would say that this is just explicit racism and xenophobia, but again, he did say that he loves foreign people, so I guess we have nothing to worry about here. Whew. Thank goodness here. But I mean, this guy, he's not even a Trump supporter. But that doesn't matter. You would expect Trump supporters to be the most xenophobic, but all Republicans are xenophobic and racist. And I say this because most Republicans literally agree with the harshest anti-immigrant rhetoric imaginable.
See a clip.
And there's a man who is gaining traction right now as the presidential nominee. And his name is Vivek Ramaswamy. And he is Hindu. And those who are Hindu believe in many gods. And he speaks well, and he is very charismatic, and he said,
I have every reason to like him and enjoy him, to be his friend, but there's this thing that I can't get past.
Says the right things. He says so many right things. Sometimes I'm like, maybe he is the right guy, but he's not, because our God will not be mocked.
Ah, there it is.
Do not be fooled.
Do not follow false prophets. Doesn't matter how beautiful they come in. Oh, the packaging can be delightful. Do not do it, my brothers and sisters.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Can you please hit the like and subscribe button and maybe leave a comment? It really does help the videos out. But first, the people who produce everything you see before you and make this entire channel possible: Amazing Fletch, Anna Loves Riley, Ariane McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Salim, Multimondi, Omni, Peanut Butter Blondie, Political Puppy, Quiet 185, Rachel K, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Ruby K, Cernicus, Spinach Monster, Stellar Vision, Sebastian Demel, Trevbot.exe, Words Greenwood, and Travis McClinton. And also, thank you to every other person who helps fund this show. Their names are on the screen right now. It would not be possible without every single one of them. We cannot thank you enough. And if you want to join the Patreon, please come to patreon.com/theserfs and help us exist.